Well, welcome to another Referee's Corner here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me today is Demetrius Richardson.
Yes.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Demetrius, refereeing in Bermuda at a young age for you must be a challenge.
Yeah.
How do you find it?
Well, since I just started, mainly the challenge is like the pressure of the coaches and the fans watching. Even though it's an enjoyable sport, like everybody having a great time watching their children play, but yeah, it's a little bit of pressure.
What got you involved in officiating?
A lot of my friends, they would start talking about, oh, I was refereeing today and it was funny, and I just thought it would be nice to try.
What is your age?
I'm 15.
You're 15.
Yeah.
You just finished playing a few years ago. The ages in which you're now officiating.
Yeah.
How much have you learned, or how much have you learned about the game in such a short space of time?
Yeah. In my era, I should say, I don't really remember, but our football games were more run and chase type of game. But now, looking back on the children that are younger than us, they are progressing way faster than we were.
More technical way.
Yeah, more technical.
Okay.
Too.
What about when you're trying to explain? Because I know you, as a young person, you must get questioned a lot about the call you're making. Because some people want to know if you know what you're calling. Yes. Yeah. So when you're trying to explain that to, say, a coach, how is that received?
I would say so far it's been somewhat well received. I mean, I would get like, oh, that was a bad call. That should have been a foul. But I would let the play continue in the nature of the foul or incident.
If it's advantage or something like that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. How much senior league football do you watch, and are you paying attention to some of the things the referee is doing so you can get an idea of what you need, or even professional football?
Yeah, I watched PAC play, I think it was Cougars, and I would see how the referee would position himself. That's where I learned how to position myself while watching it play. I would like stay in the middle but away from the ball, and I would see how the referee would keep his cool when the fans would address him.
Right.
So that's where
It must be, I mean, you're 15, so it must be a little nerve-wracking when you say, okay, I'm going to go and officiate, but I see how some of these other officials are being treated.
Yeah.
And in the adult era, in the adult arena. So was it like, let me speak to my parents, let me talk about it, or did you have that type of conversation that this is what I want to do, and I think I'll be okay doing it?
Yeah, well, when the position got presented to me by Mr. Williams, I was okay. I was like, okay, I'll just do it for the like community service, like giving back.
Right.
And at first, I thought it would have been a little bit easier, being that it was younger teams and less competition, I guess.
Right.
And now being in the middle of all the action, I see that the pressure is there for every referee that I know.
Right. And all you guys are kind of close friends and so forth. But so obviously, after your game on a Saturday, you have a chance to speak to other guys that are refereeing. Do you find there are similarities in your game as opposed to someone else's game, even though you haven't seen their game?
Yeah, we would talk, and the games would be like very entertaining. I mean, we would joke around like, these like mostly football players have nice boots and all that.
Right.
And like we would joke around that type of thing.
Right.
But, yeah.
So when you go to play now, what is your approach to who's ever in the middle? It's a lot different?
Yeah, it is. I would like be more relaxed. I would try and think of how he saw the fall instead of how I thought, oh, it was my fall.
Right. Do you notice when you're on the sideline, say watching a game, you have one view, but then you put yourself in that same predicament as a referee, you're seeing it from a different angle. So not everything you see
is what happens.
Is what actually happens. Do you find that a lot?
Yeah, I find it a lot.
Yeah. How do we address those type of things? Because a lot of people will be on the sideline and get the best view because it's there's nothing obstructing their view. Where the referee sometimes has a player running the path. They have the balls going. You're looking to make sure that everything's happening. There's so many things. So how do you address that issue with the fact that you have some senior guys you can talk to see how they handle it?
That's a hard question. I would mainly, I would still seek, like, hear out what the spectators are saying and take that into consideration and, like, put together the pieces if I missed anything. So say the ball went out but I didn't see it, but the coach would tell me, oh, it went out, then I would go along with it. But if it was like a contradictory way, I would sort of like allow it, but still make my call, which I feel comfortable in.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you about. How confident are you when you make a call? Do you feel as if, and you blow your whistle like with command? Do they teach you that?
No, they haven't. But I still feel like when I heard the whistle, like I'm in control. Of the game.
Right. How much are you having fun with it?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
It's something that you think you can do on and on. I know you said you've done it for community service, but are you liking it that much that if a shortage continues, although you want to play, I take it, you still want to be a part of a referee just to stay around football?
Yeah, I like the atmosphere of watching people play, and now being the referee, I'm in the middle of it, so I get the full exposure of the game, which is very fun because I would never thought I would see an under-8 game until now.
Right. Let alone just playing it. When you're finished playing, you say, okay, I'm past that. Now I go to my next thing. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah? All right. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
You speak very well. Keep it up,
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate it. Well, joining me now is Jair Eve. Jair, as a young footballer, why would you get involved in officiating?
I got involved in officiating because I like to play football, and it's like an easy way to make money.
Right. What about learning the rules? Do you now understand and appreciate rules a little differently now that you're in a position to have to know them?
Yes, I learned the rules much better, and it's helped my game too.
Yeah? What position do you play when you play?
When I play anywhere along the defensive line.
Okay. So then, before you became an official, you would put your hand up for offside or, look at the referee, ask him why. And now, when you play, do you look at it a little differently now? Do you assess the situation a little differently now?
Yes, I do, because when I'm playing, it's like when I referee, I know that like the players, they're not gonna agree with every decision.
Right.
So then when I play, I try not to argue with every decision.
Right. Okay. Now, when you're doing what you do under 8 games?
Under 8s and under 10s.
Under 8s and under 10s. When you're in the middle of those games, how challenging are you finding those players? Don't worry about the fans and the coaches yet. How about the players? Do you feel they challenge calls?
No, the players are easy.
The players are easy. You're finding it a little challenging with coaches and spectators?
Yeah, but in my games that I'm refereed, they haven't really been a problem.
Oh, they haven't? No. That's a good thing then, yeah? Okay. Now, when you're officiating, do you feel as if you're always in control of what you're doing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah? So when you walk on the field, you feel as if you're confident enough that...
Yes.
Okay. What would you consider, or what would you say has been your biggest challenge thus far as officiating?
I don't know.
No?
No, I haven't really had any challenges.
No? Okay. So when you're take me back to your first game, and you showed up and you introduced yourself as the match referee.
Yeah.
What was the reception like from the coaches?
It was good, but like I was a little bit nervous because it was my first game.
Right.
And they weren't really any problem with
Right.
anything like that.
Did you, when you, on your way to your first game, is it something you talk to your parents about? Like, I'm going to officiate my first game.
Not really.
No? What about your friends?
Yeah, I was talking to my friends.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What advice were they giving you?
Nothing really.
So obviously, the young man that just left, you guys are from Berkeley. I interviewed some other youngsters in weeks gone by, also from Berkeley. So do you guys get a chance to discuss refereeing issues amongst yourselves?
No, not really. But
No?
some of my friends, they referee also.
Right.
And then we just talk about our games
Right.
and stuff like that.
What are some of the things that you see similarities in your game that they will speak about their game? Players just chasing the ball like a little, yeah.
Yeah.
How funny it looks sometimes. But you got to remember, how old are you?
14.
You're 14. 6 years ago, that was you.
Yeah.
4 years ago, that was, Do you see yourself, when you're refereeing a game, do you see yourself how you used to play in some of those kids' eyes?
Sometimes,
Yeah? And you spend a lot of time smiling and laughing about it, don't you? So, when you decide, I'm going to officiate a game, what are some of the things you make sure you have done entirely to ensure that when you go into the game, you're fully prepared? What are some of the things you're doing the night before, the morning of, to make sure you're totally prepared to referee a game?
I just make sure that I get in my bed early because it's hard to wake up
Right.
early in the morning.
Right.
And I make sure I have my wristwatch and stopwatch.
Okay. So you're also playing on Saturdays as well.
Yes.
So you do kind of back-to-back games, and then you got your
Yeah.
game. At the end of the day, are you kind of like burnt out
Yeah.
because you've been up early?
Mhm.
You've refereed under 8, you've refereed possibly under 10, and then you're playing as well. So, but how much of that football do you at the end of the day say, whoa? But I think I've done a good job today.
Yeah.
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 You sit back and analyze not only your game but the
Yeah.
games you've officiated.
Yeah.
If somebody said to you before you started officiating, somebody said to you, yeah, I think you should try to officiate. Before you decided that's what you're going to do, what would your answer been?
I would have probably still said yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So kind of when someone approached you, you was all for it and
Yeah.
ready to go. Oh, okay. All right. So you've enjoyed your time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it something you want to continue on doing? I mean, I know you want to play, and every player wants to go to the highest level, but is refereeing something you think you would enjoy doing over a longer period of time, even after you stop playing?
I don't know, because it's easier to control the little children.
Right.
And I don't really want to be refereeing the men's league and stuff
Right.
like that.
Because of the challenges and so forth. Well, hopefully, with the influx of you young guys coming in, the older guys will understand that without you guys doing it we could end up in a crisis where, I mean, we're already short at the senior level in officiating because of the treatment. I mean, I speak to a lot of the senior referees, and they don't want to be chastised. They don't want to be second guessed. You know what I mean? So this is an opportunity for you young guys to show that, hey, you're giving back you, at a young age because you're still playing. But here's an opportunity to lay off the referees and give them the opportunity to referee the same way we're going to give the players a chance to play.
Yeah.
Did you guys win this weekend?
We lost 3-2
Oh, to who?
PHC.
Oh, okay. All right. Obviously, Kappa's coming up.
Yeah.
Are you in Denny Town's team, or will you be refereeing?
I'll be playing.
It's time to play,
Yeah.
isn't it? but that's an opportunity to also assess. When you're not playing, it's also a time to assess referees because the games are so close and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chance for you to look at it and see, positioning and so forth, because the fields are a lot smaller than what you would normally do. What would you say if you had an opportunity to change something about Bermuda football as a young man, as a player, and as an official? What would one of those things be?
It'd be I'll get the players to stop arguing with the referee and the commentators. The spectators to stop shouting and stuff
Right.
like
Right. You would address that.
that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a start. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want the spectators, the players. We want them to hear that because it's not coming from a old guy like me. It's coming from a young man.
Yeah.
Who has changed his mindset now that you're an official, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate it. Now joining me is Jatwan Miners. Jatwan, thanks for coming on. Refereeing. You're a young man that you look like you play for Hamilton Parish.
Yes, sir.
Why did you pick up refereeing?
Um, I was looking for a job and also some good experience as referees get to go away to experience and develop the refereeing skills.
What have you taken from courses that you've done for refereeing and utilized in your game?
Um, since I know some of the rules of refereeing, I don't complain as much anymore.
Right.
Because I understand how hard refereeing is and I understand the rules a lot better.
Right. How about expressing that with your teammates, trying to get them to understand that you understand it a little more because you've taken up that option of refereeing and you know the difficulties that the referee, the job in which the referee has to do?
Well, I don't really talk about my teammates. I wouldn't really talk to my teammates about it that much, but I do sure that they should complain less because it's an easier way to get a yellow card or a red card
Right.
in the game because we shouldn't be mouthing off to the ref. We should just let him make his decision.
Right. When you took up the challenge of becoming an official, was it like you have a conversation with your parents or even with your friends about what to expect as you get into the game?
No, not really.
No. You just took it up and said, "I'll try it."
Yes.
Yeah. When you go to a course and you go to a course for the first time, what are some of the surprising things you learn or you've learned about the rules of the game which you didn't know?
That the linesmen, like they have different flag signals that I never knew
Right.
about
Yes. Yeah.
that indicate like whether it's a foul, which way the foul's going,
Right.
a penalty or a corner or a throw-in,
Right.
or also like
So when you go and watch a senior game, you're looking for the same indications, and so you already know what's going on before generally most of the other people know what's going on.
yes.
Yeah. When you prepare for a game and you get to know who you're refereeing, do you sense you get more trouble from, say, coaches and spectators more than the players themselves?
More than likely that's what happens.
Yeah.
Players aren't really bad.
Right. At that, what at
At-
8 and 10, they're still having fun playing, chasing the ball. Do you see a bit of yourself when they're playing? How you used to play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have a game, you're preparing for a game, you're getting ready to play, you're getting ready to start the game. What are some of the routine things you say to yourself to ensure that, okay, let me stay focused in this game, let me make sure that I'm up with play and so forth? What are some of the things you're telling yourself you need to concentrate on to ensure that you give your best for the players giving their best?
That I need to be final with my decisions and not worry about the parents and the coaches and the coaches I can worry about, but
Right.
not in that sense, and the spectators like
Mm.
because I know if I need somebody removed, if they're being a bit much, I could just ask the match official to ask them to leave.
Right. Your first game, were you nervous?
Yes,
When did the nerves go away?
like 3 games in.
3 games in. Oh, okay. So after the first game, how do you assess the situation? How do you assess how you done? What you need to change? Do you talk that over with your friends, or do you talk that over with BFA officials? Because you say it took you 3 games to do that. How do you assess that situation?
I just thought of ways that I could improve refereeing
Right.
for myself.
Right.
I did what I thought would be best.
So during game 3, you was like, okay, I'm got this. I understand it.
Yes.
I'm more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What rule would you say is one of the hardest rules for people on the outside to understand?
Probably the Oh, the like if the ball fully goes over the line, like when it's a goal,
Right,
like that's what they have trouble understanding.
right. Okay, because the ball don't have to touch the net. The hill ball just has to go over the line. So it can go over the line and bounce back out. So a lot of people tend to say the ball didn't cross the line, sort of thing. But when you're doing an under 8 game, how important is it for you to ensure that you keep up with the play? So when you do blow the whistle, kind of when players or even coaches or spectators turn around, you're right there.
How important is
Yeah.
it? It's very important. So the coaches can, and the spectators and players can say, but you was already down there.
Right, right. So you
So-
work hard to make sure that you're up with play.
Yes, you have to keep up with the play.
When one of the things that people don't understand, change of direction of play. And I know it's something you guys go through when you're learning the course because it's a simple thing. It's when one team loses possession and it's a quick counter attack. You try to pick the shortest route to that play, yes?
Yes.
And most of the time it's diagonal. What are some of the things that they taught you when or how to close down that gap? Because obviously, if it's a long ball forward, you're already out of position, but you have to quickly get into position. And a lot of things, people don't realize how much of a challenge the referee has in doing just that. Yeah. Do you find, what are some of the ways that they taught you to make sure that you can close down that gap rather quickly?
I actually don't think. I think that's one of these sessions I actually missed.
Oh, okay. All right. But you make up the ground because you feel as if that's the important thing. So when you now approach a game for Hamilton Parish, what are you playing, under 14s, under 15s? Under 14s. How are you looking now at the official? And sometimes you would think, oh, that's not the right call. But how are you assessing that situation when you're playing and you feel as if the referee hasn't made the right call?
Well, most of the time I just hold my tongue.
Right.
Like, because I understand like what is calling. Because most likely I'm probably gonna see it unless it's all the way up to the
Right.
field because I play down back.
Right. Okay. All right. So there are several things that referees must make sure they have to start a game.
Requirements. Yes.
Yeah. Can you name 3 of them?
The ball has to be the right size, like for under 8s and under 10s. I believe it's size 4 balls, and under 12s and under 14s, and up, I believe size 5 balls.
Right.
The box has to be a certain measurement.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-yard, well, we know that, but and the girls don't require netting, and if you said requirements, right?
Yeah.
The ball has to be pumped up, and they can't play it for ball unapproved by the referee.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I do appreciate you coming here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Do you think refereeing is something you want to do on a continuous basis?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, whatever you decide to do, all the best with it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good job, man.